Hi everyone, Queeveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are going to be looking ahead to the month of May, starting on the 1st of May, May Day, or Lá Éile Bealtaine in Irish, Bealtaine being the month of May. We're going to start with sunset on the 1st because the 1st of May is a full moon. So the moon should be rising. There we go. We can still see Venus in the evening. We can still see Jupiter in the evening. Venus will be after moving past Uranus. So we're not going to see Uranus next to Venus in the sky. Uranus will end up behind the sun as we get a little further into May. And we can see that Venus is sinking down pretty early in the evening as well. So here is the full moon rising on May Day. It's 99.7% for us here in Ireland. That doesn't go up over the course of the night, so it looks like that's just about all we get. Of course, once we get into May, the nights will be getting noticeably shorter, so we still have a little bit of light here in the sky after 10 o'clock. Of course, we're here in Ireland, we're very high on the northern hemisphere, so it does stay bright much longer once we get into summertime compared to lower latitudes. So here is the practically full moon. It still has a little bit of that orange yellow glow that the full moon has when it rises as the sun sets. We get to see that, of course, nice and late here in Ireland due to how late the sun is setting. Here's the moon back to that kind of grayish white color that we would normally associate with it. Now, of course, the lunar cycle is 29.5 days long. So if we're seeing the full moon here on the 1st of May, that means we're going to have another full moon by the end of May. The month is longer than the lunar cycle. So turning back around here to the south, we will deselect the moon for now and we'll go all the way through to the end of May. Here we go on the 30th and the moon is 99.6% full, 99.4% full there on the 31st. So it looks like the 30th, the moon is just a little bit fuller, at least from here in Ireland. So there's the full moon rising again in May. So the full moon that we have in May, the second full moon that we have in May, is a blue moon. There are multiple ways to describe a blue moon. Usually the blue moon is the second full moon you get in one calendar month. That's the definition that we're using here. Another definition for the blue moon, it's the third moon out of 4 moons that you get in one season, when one season normally only has 3 full moons. So there is a couple of ways to define the full moon, but this is the second full moon in one calendar month. So calling this the blue moon is one of the easiest definitions. And we can see here now coming up to 11 o'clock at the end of May, and the sky is still quite bright. We can see Jupiter and Venus now getting quite close together as the sun is setting. But we're going to move back to mid-May because just around mid-May will be our new moon. So we still have the moon selected here. We can make absolutely sure there's the new moon on the 16th, the moon at 0.1% full. So very new indeed. So there is Venus and Jupiter. Of course, they're both very bright. They'll come out nice and early in mid-May, 10 to 10. So still pretty late before the brightest things come out. We've completely lost Orion. We've completely lost Taurus. They're all gone. We're not even seeing all of Auriga for very long, even though Capella is circumpolar and it will stay up. Looking straight into the middle of the sky here on the 16th of May, and we've already got Virgo taking up the middle of the sky, that sort of prime position. We can follow the handle of the plough, arcing to Arcturus and spiking onto Spica right in the middle of the sky here at just 10 to 12. And of course we are using summer time, so we are an hour ahead of the actual local midnight. If we come up to midnight on the clock, we'll see the plough still in that position. If we move forward to our physical midnight of closer to 20 past 1, then we've got a very different sky. Leo already leaving the sky, followed by Virgo. We do have Libra. Libra is very difficult to see. Scorpius is not. So here we are now on the 17th, just after passing our physical midnight. The summer triangle is completely above the horizon. We've got Scorpius. Technically we have Sagittarius as well, just a little bit blocked out by the light pollution. We're going to move back, before we head into the countryside, we're going to move back to a little bit earlier in May. Here we are on the 1st of May and we're going to move back to sunset. So here is the sky getting dark. Here's the sky reaching darkness, and not all of the summer triangle is above the horizon. So according to the summer triangle, we're still not totally in summer, but we're close. We only have to wait until nearly 1 o'clock in the morning for the summer triangle to totally be up. So we're not quite in summertime by the beginning of May. If we head back to the very end of May, back to that other full moon, the blue moon, here we go. All of the summer triangle is above the horizon just as it's getting dark. So that's our transition really from not summertime into summertime according to the summer triangle. That's happening in May. So we can see Deneb, Vega, and you can just about see Altair piercing through the sunset there. From here, we're going to move back to the middle of the month, back to the new moon, around here, close enough anyway, and we're going to move up to our local midnight, so just about 1:30 here. And now we're going to move into the countryside because we have the summer triangle up, we have Scorpius up. This is going to give us a good view of the Milky Way, and we're still far enough from summer in mid-May that the sky isn't going to be bright all night long. We're not going to have astronomical twilight reaching through the entire night. So that means you will get a chance to see the glow of the Milky Way in actual darkness before things get too bright. So this is how that's going to look. We've got the Milky Way finally up, taking a strong position in the sky and staying visible for a couple of hours, so we can see the Milky Way rising a little bit after sunset. So there's the summer triangle getting up into the sky. By midnight on the clock, we'll have a good bit of the Milky Way up. The core of the Milky Way is definitely up there by about 2 o'clock and just starting to fade there at about 3:30. So we have plenty of time to see the glow of the Milky Way. It's finally getting into the time where the Milky Way is going to look good without getting washed out by the glow of the sun, which will become a problem once we get another month into the future, once we get into June. If you'd like to see a dark sky like that, you can head to your local dark sky park, your local dark sky reserve. Here in Ireland, the dark sky park in Kerry in the Ivora Peninsula and the dark sky preserve in Mayo in the Neffin wetlands. Those are the official dark skies in Ireland. There's plenty of other regions in Ireland where the sky is dark, but those are the official regions. Here's Saturn coming back in the morning, and as we move further into May, it only gets further from the sun and easier to see. Saturn's really getting visible now, whereas those other planets that were visible in the morning in April, Mercury and Mars is going to take a while to get into the sky and visible. Mercury, of course, was going into retrograde. It's over on the other side of the sun, no doubt, by this date, and not in a good position for us to see. Of course, Mercury rarely is. So we're going to come back to sunset. We're going to come back to the middle of the night. Saturn there visible in the morning, of course. And we're going to bring up our meteor showers, because we have the Eta Aquariids coming up in May. Here they are, the Eta Aquariids, and we can see their radiant coming up above the horizon just before the sun rises. So they're not in a great position for us. We can see that they are a variable meteor shower. They can be quite productive. We can see they're up to 85, so not quite as productive as the Lyrids, but still pretty productive. We're not seeing much of them here. Their peak is on the 6th of May, so we'll have to come back a little bit, which is good. Closer to the beginning of the month, they're going to be visible in a greater level of darkness. And there we go. They're up to 81 just as the sun is rising. It looks like they're going to hit their peak just after the sunrise for us here in Ireland. Our local rate is going to be pretty low, and we won't be able to get a high rate of the Aquariids. Unlike we did with the Lyrids, we can't wait for the Aquariid radiant to get higher in the sky. Once the radiant of the Aquariids gets higher in the sky, the sun rises and it all gets blocked out. The Eta Aquariids, the little symbol at the front is the Greek Eta, and they are the Aquariids. I've been doing my best to pronounce it correctly this time, but I do have a habit of pronouncing them Aquariids, the Eta Aquariids. Really, it is the Aquariids, and you will see the Eta Aquariids with only one eye written in various places. The one eye versus two eyes, Aquariids, that's down to Latin grammar. Really, it should be the Aquariids, the Eta Aquariids of Aquarius, but this is a language that not many people speak, and even the people who do speak it, no doubt acknowledge that it has a Baroque declension system in its nouns. So the Eta Aquariids, the Eta Aquariids, the Eta Aquariids, if you want to pronounce it really badly, as I have done in the past. That's the meteor shower that's coming up, and we'll talk about it in more detail as we get later into the month. We can see the Eta Lyrids there as well, also peaking in May. So it looks like we have a couple of meteor showers that we can take a look at, as well as the different constellations that are in the sky. There's really been a change now since April. From April to May is a much bigger change than from March to April. So we'll take a bigger look at the constellations in a future video as well. But I do hope you enjoyed this preview of what we're going to see in the course of the coming month. If you did enjoy this video, then please do like it. If you like this kind of content, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to read this information written down, you can do so on my website, queeveenscontent.ie. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.